Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. The headlines. SMC Infrastructure fights to revive a uniform cashless toll collection system after the new transportation chief halted its implementation. A multi-million-dollar U.S. military aid package for the Philippines is exempt from the foreign aid freeze ordered by President Donald Trump. The U.S. and Ukraine reportedly strike a minerals deal offering the U.S. support for Kyiv's efforts against Moscow in exchange for access to key natural resources. First, let's take a look at how financial markets performed overnight. U.S. stocks struggled on Tuesday as a dour consumer confidence report highlighted mounting economic uncertainties and triggered a sell-off. Interest rate futures indicate that the U.S. Federal Reserve will maintain its key interest rates for the first half of the year.
The market really is driven by what Jensen Huang says tomorrow, and I think that until we kind of have a better idea of where they stand and what their outlook is, what has come out from other Mag 7 companies, whether it be Microsoft or Amazon or Alphabet, hasn't been overly positive. So the market's waiting on bated breath to see what happens.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.4%, the S&P 500 lost 0.5%, and the Nasdaq Composite lower by 1.4%. Over in Europe, the UK's FTSE up by 0.1%, Germany's DAX lower by 0.1%, rather UK's FTSE higher by 0.1%, Germany's DAX lower by 0.1%, and France's CAC 40 lower by 0.5%. Millions of commuters are looking for faster, more efficient transportation in Metro Manila, and Transport Secretary Vince Dizon is committed to making that a reality. The details from Sujin Kim.
The Metro Manila Subway, the country's most ambitious transport project, is moving forward with a 488 billion peso price tag. Transport Secretary Vince Dizon says the government will tackle every challenge from construction delays to right-of-way issues. But one thing is clear, the project cannot be stopped.
The subway is probably the most challenging project this country has ever undertaken. Ever. So we have to tackle that. No, I understand the concerns and the worries of the owners of those houses. No, but this subway plan cannot be stopped. This is going to go through, and we are committed to finishing this project.
Dizon admits the country is a laggard in infrastructure development, and major operational improvements are needed to modernize public transportation.
That's a given. The first step to solving a problem is acknowledging that there is a problem. But there are solutions. There are solutions. They're there. They're already being built.
The Transport Department is rolling out short-term, medium-term, and long-term fixes to transform Metro Manila's transport system. Immediate measures include stricter bus stop regulations, round-the-clock enforcement, and better navigation signs for commuters. In the coming years, DOTR plans to expand transport infrastructure and build more concourses. Dizon also thanked the SM Group for donating 2 transport concourses in SM North EDSA and SM Megamall. These will serve as blueprints for future busway stations across Metro Manila. These stations are set to open by February 2026. Looking ahead, the administration is ramping up public-private partnerships across all transport sectors to ensure efficient operations and maintenance.
We are going to collaborate with the private sector in all sectors of the OTR: land, air, water, rail. This is the belief of the President as well. The best way to ensure that infrastructure facilities, airports, ports, railways, busways, BRTs, everything, is through public-private partnership. That is the best way to ensure that they will be operated and run well, and they will be maintained well.
With more PPP projects underway, the DOTR is fast-tracking modernization to make commuting more reliable, faster, and more convenient for Filipinos.
Let us also focus on finishing the big projects that will really be the game-changing infrastructure projects that will make the daily lives of commuters and motorists better. No, and we're talking about the trains, the subway, the MRTs, the LRTs.
Sujin Kim, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
SMC Infrastructure is pushing for a uniform cashless toll collection system after the new DOTR chief suspended its implementation. SMC stresses that without a uniform cashless system, seamless integration between different toll operators cannot be fully realized. The operator adds that it has worked closely with the government for the past 5 years to enhance the tolling experience for motorists, with a key focus on achieving full interoperability among ETC systems across expressways. Secretary Vince Dizon suspended the cashless toll policy last week, labeling it as anti-poor. A petition questioning the legality of PhilHealth's exclusion from the 20 to 25% national budget has been filed before the Supreme Court. Health advocacy groups are protesting outside the Justice Department, demanding that the budget be used to fund free health care for Filipinos. Health reform advocate Dr. Tony Liachon has also filed a petition arguing that PhilHealth's zero subsidy violates existing laws on universal health care. This issue raises serious concerns about the government's commitment to universal health care and the future of affordable, accessible health services for all Filipinos. The Trump administration's foreign aid suspension will exclude a package worth millions of dollars for the Philippine military. Francis Folde has the details.
$366 million in U.S. military aid is not included in the foreign aid freeze ordered by U.S. President Donald Trump. According to AFP Public Affairs Office Chief Colonel Cersas Trinidad, the funding will benefit defense activities on land, air, and sea, including cybersecurity.
And it also signals basically our long-standing relationship with the U.S. and the Philippines. It has further strengthened the ties between the two countries. On the development or its particular use, we leave it to our top leadership on the particular acquisition and development of EDCA sites and other programs.
The palace also welcomed this development.
Of course, natutuwa po tayo, nagkaroon nga po ng direktiba ang si US President Trump na 90 days magkakaroon ng i-freeze ang foreign aid. So kung nagkaroon po tayo ng exemption at nagkaroon po tayo at ibibigay po at i-release ang $500 million foreign Filipino financing sa atin, ito po ay napakalaking bagay at nagpapasalamat po tayo sa suporta na yan. Tandaan po natin, ito pa ay mula sa pamahalaan po ni dating Pangulo na US President Biden at ito pa rin po ay pinagtibay din po sa panahon po ni President Donald Trump.
Last year, former U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and State Secretary Antony Blinken announced a $500 million aid package from the U.S. to support the modernization of the armed forces of the Philippines and the Philippine Coast Guard. According to the Department of Foreign Affairs, the AFP is one of the recipients of the exemption granted under Trump 2.0. This move highlights the commitment of both the Philippines and the U.S. to strengthening their defense cooperation and interoperability. Francis Polbe, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Malacanang is cracking down on vloggers spreading fake news. This is one of President Bongbong Marcos's orders to the new officials of the Presidential Communications Office. The PCO has stated that it supports measures to ban fake news given the rising level of misinformation and lies online.
Siguro naman kahit po hindi palasyo ang tanungin natin, gugustuhin po talaga natin na maban ang fake news. And personally, when I was one of the resource persons dito sa TRICOM, I even suggested for a registration of all content creators to avoid this kind of fake news.
We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line. Let's take a look at how bourses in Asia are faring in early trade. Right now, we're seeing a mixed picture. Japan's Nikkei 225 is down sharply, down by 1.2%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, on the other hand, is in the green, higher sharply by 2.21%. Shanghai's Composite is up by almost 0.1%. And Singapore's market is flat with a downward bias. Here at home, let's take a look at the shares. Philippine Stock Exchange Index. As of 10:12 this morning, the PSE Index is flat with a downward bias, lower by 0.1% to 60.58. The broader All Shares Index down as well, slightly unchanged, lower by less than 0.1% to 36.39. As for the sub-indices, we're looking at a mixed picture. The financials and services are bucking the market's downtrend, whereas the industrial holding firms, mining and oil and property counters are in the red. And at the foreign exchange market, the peso strengthened at open. This morning, it opened at 57.87 against the greenback from its previous close of 57.93. Now, the Philippine Stock Exchange secures majority control of the Philippine dealing system, bringing it closer to a unified capital market that could streamline trading for investors. In a disclosure, the PSE announced that it has finalized the purchase of an additional 18.8% stake from the Bankers Association of the Philippines and some of its member banks, raising its total ownership in the PDS to 78.33%. However, not all banks participated. 2 member banks did not complete the deal, leaving room for further developments. The PSE has long pushed to consolidate stock and bond trading under a single platform, aligning the Philippines with more advanced financial markets. A fully integrated exchange could reduce transaction costs, improve market liquidity, and make it easier for investors to trade across asset classes. But there's one final hurdle. The Securities and Exchange Commission still needs to approve the merger. Our guest today is a key voice in the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, or the PCCI, one of the nation's largest business groups with chapters nationwide, each led by its own president. Attorney Arnel Mateo, the president of the Quezon City chapter, joins us ahead of the International Business Conference to discuss game-changing policy reforms aimed at improving the ease of doing business, streamlining red tape, and accelerating digital innovation to boost our budding economy. Welcome, Attorney Mateo.
Thank you, Maiki. Good morning.
Attorney Mateo, as you represent the Quezon City chapter, can you give us a temperature check of how businesses in Quezon City are faring and what are the unique challenges and opportunities for this city?
Yes. Right now, there are close to 70,000 businesses in Quezon City, and which are diverse from micro to large enterprises. And in Quezon City, most of these businesses work together with the Quezon City government. Thus, several projects such as incentives and grants are given to our businesses, especially for nano enterprises. Recently, our city government passed an ordinance that allows the registration of nano enterprises. These are those whose capital assets do not exceed 50,000 and their income is not more than 250,000 pesos. So to encourage these businesses to register as well and be part in the increase of the 70,000 businesses in Quezon City, they are given the privilege to register for 500 pesos only to register your business, and they're exempted from business and regulatory taxes.
70,000 businesses in Quezon City. How has this number changed over the recent years, and how do you see it changing moving forward with these new incentives, for example, the support for nano and micro enterprises?
Yes. Actually, we're very positive that these numbers will be increased further, the 70,000 numbers, because other than the nano ordinance, there's also a new ordinance providing for incentives to medium and large enterprises. So those who will be opening their businesses and relocating their branch in Quezon City will also be given a 2-year tax exemption. And with that, we're expecting more businesses coming in. Because if you can see, we already have Soler here in Quezon City and more businesses coming in.
Yeah, it's the little things that you do on the regulatory side that make Quezon City such a good hub for businesses.
Yes.
According to the PCCI, out of all the chapters that you have, Quezon City for the past 2 years has been, the most business-friendly.
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's because business in Quezon City is easy. So if you want to establish your business and later on if you want to close it, the processes are very streamlined. So for new applicants, if they would like to apply for a business permit, they can get their invoice in less than 1 hour. And for renewal, they can get their business permits in 10 seconds, in less than 10 seconds. So that's how fast doing business is here in Quezon City.
Okay. How are businesses in Quezon City particularly feeling about the current economic environment in the country?
Well, businesses here in Quezon City are very happy with all the support that we're getting from the city government and the collaboration between the PCCI and our business owners. As you can see, we have a very active local business chamber here in Quezon City, and we complement the services that is given by the Quezon City LGU to those businesses in Quezon City, especially micro, small, and medium enterprises.
Are you advocating for any specific policy reforms to better boost the competitiveness of Quezon City?
Yes, definitely. We want to advance for the digitization and aggressive innovation and providing for digital platforms that will allow our micro, small, and medium enterprises to promote their products and services. Because as you can see, right now we are in the AI era, and therefore access to this AI era is not so much affordable for micro enterprises. So we're advocating that we provide incentives and encourage companies who can provide these AI tools that can help in the growth of our micro, small, and medium enterprises.
On another front, the House Committee on Labor and Employment just approved a measure that all employers in the private sector, regardless of capitalization, need to pay their workers an across-the-board wage hike of 200 pesos a day. What are your thoughts on this, Attorney Mateo?
Well, businesses are different. So no businesses are alike, and therefore their ability to comply with this are different. As mentioned, we have micro, small, and medium and large enterprises. Large enterprises can easily comply, but if you are going to look at the whole economy, 99% are MSMEs.
Right.
And therefore, if we will require these differently situated enterprises to pay the same 200 across the board wage, then we will be providing difficulty for smaller businesses to comply. Businesses right now are working on a very light margin. And if we are to add additional costs, definitely they have to review the pricing of their products and services.
What do you think will be the long-term effects, specifically sa mga micro and nano, which really comprise the bulk of businesses in Quezon City in particular? Ano kaya magiging effect nito over the long term?
Definitely, it could lead to higher prices because business owners will have to review their pricing. So let us say if they're preparing for a burger worth 100 pesos, if you add this additional labor cost, they will have to review their pricing and increase that. And that means higher prices have to be paid by our consumers.
So what's the solution to this, Attorney Mateo? How do we strike a balance between increasing wages and maintaining competitiveness for businesses?
Definitely, we have regional wage boards that understand the economic situation in each region, because each region have different economic situation, and the needs of the businesses, the needs of the employees are different. Therefore, we need to allow them to work on this and provide us with the right numbers on how much per region should be the reasonable wage increase.
But for Quezon City, for your chapter, sang-ayon ba kayo sa 200 peso across the board wage hike?
For Quezon City, we are not we're not in agreement to the across the board 200 pesos wage increase. We definitely want it to be reasonable and check on how this will affect micro, small, and medium enterprises. For large companies, they're okay with that. But for smaller companies, micro, small, and medium, who earn less than 3 million pesos in a year, it would be an added burden for them.
Okay, baby steps. Thank you so much for your time, Attorney Mateo, the president of the PCCI QC chapter.
Thank you.
We're taking a quick breather. Business 360 will be right back. Welcome back. The U.S. and Ukraine have reportedly agreed on terms for a minerals deal as Kyiv seeks President Trump's support in its fight against Russia. According to Reuters, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky refused to sign an earlier draft of a minerals agreement that would have given Washington rights to $500 billion of natural resources in exchange for U.S. involvement in a reconstruction fund. Trump said on Monday that Zelensky could travel to Washington this week or next to finalize that deal. What does this mean for global business? Well, this deal could transform international trade in natural resources, impacting supply chains, investment strategies, and global market stability, with ripple effects across key sectors such as energy, infrastructure, and manufacturing. U.S. President Donald Trump will end the country's immigrant investor visa program known as the EB-5 program. The program, which granted green cards to foreigners who promised to invest in U.S. businesses, is to be replaced by a so-called gold card that can be purchased for $5 million as a route to citizenship.
EB-5 program was really, you lend some money, but it was full of nonsense, make-believe, and fraud, and it was a way to get a green card that was low priced. So the president said, rather than having this sort of ridiculous EB-5 program, we're going to end the EB-5 program. We're going to replace it with the Trump Gold Card, which is really a green card gold. So they'll be able to pay $5 million to the U.S. government. They'll have to go through vetting, of course. We're going to make sure they're wonderful, world-class global citizens.
Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle leads the prayer for Pope Francis's recovery at St. Peter's Square on Tuesday. Catholics around the globe are joining in. Pope Francis is still in critical condition as he battles double pneumonia, but the Vatican clarifies that he is in stable condition. The 88-year-old pontiff is now on his 12th night at Rome's Gemelli Hospital, the longest hospital stay of his papacy. And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.